This moment I'm experiencing has already happened of me by a person that is me from a past in our time and a future of our time. That means my paramour has also already happened to me. So what if it makes this supposedly interesting plot remotely exciting, if not without the addendum of Hilliganen terrorists? Every Bisaya-speaking person knows that their parents have kept from them this additional secret book from their lives. So what of it when you can say for yourself that you can speak Ilonggo? That would be discounting the interesting plot addition of the Filipino social ranking Elimination Death Squad. Time has been perpetually ruthless for Filipinos, and that the pressure of a recently deleted Scopely account has fortunately not eluded the mind of this one. Who's to say that the continual farming of a desktop game makes one remain on this island? Who's to say it's not Ragnarok Mobile? But this goes beneath the interesting plot addition to Fish Out of Water concept, also not mentioning the giant monster concept corruption, oligarchs, nepotism, autocracies. Where would I be when out of my waters? Oh, that's an easy answer. Where have I been that I find myself at an altitude that is beyond fatal? Firstly, the computer science building of Capita University, maybe even the social sciences building of Ateneo, perhaps the 34th floor of Midori condominiums, maybe even 13,000 feet up in the air of a Jetstar flight to Singapore. All these places I could have easily already died, but a new doppelganger arises each time, and with the use of this Golden Thief bug card, I am immune to your magic spells. The second component of an interesting book are relatable characters. The first of which you will be so lucky to know is none other than my esteemed sister, the J of the family, Josephine Aisha, recently knighted by the Emmy Island, the Hilliganen. She is relatable because her logical reasoning and verbal speech falls quite a handsome bit lower than the family average. That is to say, it is markedly different. You don't get to hear this woman give a political speech on the country's unrushed economy. Adrian.mp4, Shirley.mp4, Bangai.mp4, Michael.mp4, Choo-Choo.mp4. My fear only goes second to my desire to see the carnage wrought about yearly by Philippine typhoons. There's not a lot of interesting things about my sister, except she's a witch. She was born a necromancer, a spellcaster, a magician, a summoner, and most of all, a hag. They say there are only two kinds of people, and my sister is definitely not of my kind. She didn't have the life of Nepotus, as I didn't have. To see her propped up so highly, at such an unexpected place, is nothing far from settling. Now that I'm 71 years old, settling is something ingrained and no longer event mentioned, except for the happy incidences of the spur of youth showering on my being, or should I say, my character class, which I should be so proud to say is the clairvoyant telepath, moving things with my mind only, though go so effectively as the tightness of my bond with my sister, if not for my world-ender mom. August 16th, 2025, I dreamt I was being chased by a chainsaw murderer. It was a grassy area in the mountains. Dry, tall grass. I was with this guy with a butterfly hairstyle, or more specifically, the guy from the Lizzie McGuire movie, the one from her high school, just as the murderer could get his hands on me. I double-clicked my butterfly wing to go home. But it didn't work. I told the system to take me to the Brazilis save point. Brazilis, Brazilis, Brazilis. He's reaching out his hand, and I'm back in my bed, scared out of my wits. What kind of sick man won't return a guy's cell phone? It's not being used because the password's being kept by him. This is the logic of a local city prosecutor. August 16th, 2025, Saturday, I've got another pretty case, and this time it's against Lenny Ong. There is no person on earth who doesn't know the password to their own Wi-Fi. Why text someone the wrong password to their Wi-Fi? I dreamt of that scene in A Cure for Wellness. The sound of walls. I dreamed of Tibisac, but it was a grove, huge sunny valley, a huge room separating me from trans drag queens. I dreamed Ma'am Epper was in the house. She was wearing a black, red, and white polo shirt, a work shirt, like the ones from Rank Fortress. Ever since the dissipation of my main account in Pokemon Go, albeit it was a flying app since 2018, there have been many changes just this fateful week in 2025. No more Dynamax raids in New York upon waking up. What for? I certainly don't want to watch my account get erased while I'm waiting for plane in my boarding gate. I'd be upset the entire flight. Walking is now necessary. Not cheating has its way of giving you that thing we need sometimes. The situation where you're left with absolutely no other choice. You can't ban an account that's never cheated. I haven't had sex since Jay. The probiotics have basically saved my life. My body feels lighter because all the bad bacteria has been replaced by good, and it turns out I was never meant to be super muscular. I realize again, my bones can only really support so much weight. Who knows? Maybe I'll even get a flat stomach soon. Pork chop. My neck fat's also decreasing. It removes my having to experiment with amino acids because I feel amazing just drinking it alone. After watching Fire Island, that relationship driver messaged me again, said I was getting nearer. I like this book because it veers way from what he usually writes on ordinary life. How knowing about a person is the only thing that powers his life. This guy, he has superpowers. It's not flight or fire, ice or water. It's what those loony bins are here still for. They say it's another, quote, unquote, psychic type. Apart from getting what he wants from wishing it fervently in his mind, he's now getting away with turning his opposition to his side in the most devious way possible. Swimming in lines like, he can't keep getting away with this, and why are you here? I can hear your heartbeat. A car comes by to run him over. It doesn't happen with the slightest move. W.ish making isn't the only thing the power can do. Moving things with his mind is also in his capabilities. There's a defect in a line, it gets corrected. It gets to exist in the next occurrence in time. How'd you steal a pen? I really like writing. Busted for violating a law against suppressing anti-government activities. Robbed on the spot. Even the author. The third skill in the psychic typing is implanting thoughts. But it's just enough to have parents thank him for keeping their kids in their rooms. With outputs like this, it's better to spend your salaries in your tuitions. Implanting thoughts doesn't also limit which one thought is used by any one of these criminals. The fourth branch is ally switch, then amnesia, confusion, cosmic power, eerie spell, esper wing, expanding force, extrasensory, freezing glare, genesis supernova, guard swap. Weak ones are agility, barrier, future sight, glitzy glow, and impossible is dream eater, as an evolved psychic type. There really is not anywhere convenient to go to, except the newly boosted hope of a baby alternate account to laugh at a news update so big. It would be a most satisfying reminiscing of a decision that turned out well for him. The second, that sparkling national badge, another name mentioned in a national exam paper question. The third, to see my beloved Paul the Taiwanese, Brit by-side drug addict. What's to say about the new episodes? There's a lot more tolerance there. And why wouldn't there be? The sureness of the payout is already well established. This woman, she keeps refuting the only real fact in here, that if I get a job, Aisha's going to be sent home. Brian's cooking up things for me. I've still Joseph's line in my head. We only wanted your money. Never there anymore when I'm spinning stops. I really thought that guy was acting like he can't communicate. Now I've witnessed an aphasia case in front of me. The guy is fucking cute. Like your meal's been delivered to your mouth. There's this Act 2, this brother bit. He's not exactly grossed out by his little brother, but I just feel like their whole life is going down the drain if they don't see this until the end. Everybody wants to deliver the final attack. The third storyline in this walking group is all these medical professionals getting their photo op. The fourth is your own journey of Pokemon catching. Your arm twist, your finger accuracy, your gait, your weight, your form, your fashion. I see that Nico is not walking with us. Still roaming the malls, like what Geigo did. Remember, in SM Uptown. On top of all that, you have this dare on your head. Can you, though, make these guys come every time? Getting cum scammed would be a great way to have a point on the bitter team. Diving into a sea of K-dramas. There's just something about these that beg to get lines from. Stealing from an English movie would just be too fucking obvious. An Asian country making these many. Every time, there's an unloading of tech waste, asset acquisition, and a supposed status disparity. All these guys sitting on priceless skin pottery. A skin pottery deal gone wrong. You know what this means, now that you put civil servant in Mobile Legends, and you keep mentioning it in K-dramas, and even Indonesian horror, you'll have to lower the passing rate of the civil service exams. Word getting out means a smaller profit. Do you know how many porn videos there are in a ship? The idea is to get more on land. This book is swimming around getting remembered as a porn star. But asking someone to never work corporate is a far jump.